Yo, welcome back to the channel. Kumusta po sa inyo lahat? Very rarely do I ever sit down to talk about a full Resonator showcase review. But this time, I think I have to. Because let's be honest, Kuro Games doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to hyping up their characters. When you compare them to how Hoyoverse, for example, handles their character trailers, those cinematic masterpieces that make people throw their wallets at the screen, Kuro's approach is a little more reserved. Not bad, just different. They like to take the slower, more reflective route, often focusing on backstory, symbolism, and lore instead of pure power fantasy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means their style appeals more to players who enjoy storytelling over spectacle. Just think about their past releases. Galbrena's showcase was all about her bond with her chimera, a symbiotic theme of duality and interdependence. Augustus focused on her difficult youth, showing her as this brilliant orphan who carved her own place in the world. And for Lova, she gave us time loops, loss, and an existential crisis that echoed the same vibes we saw with the Rover. Each of those showcases leaned more on emotional depth rather than action-heavy moments. But Qiuyuan's his showcase hits differently. It's personal, it's grounded, it's about the relationship between a mentor and a student, the passing of wisdom, discipline, and trust. And that right there is what makes it brilliant. And speaking of brilliant, getting up to 25% in discounts on your next Lunite subscription, Battle Pass, and top-ups are what being smart is all about. Especially when you don't have to give your password away. Loot Bar gives you up to 25% in discounts, and using my link down in the description and pinned comments adds an extra 10% off your purchases. Trusted by so many players worldwide with top scores on Trustpilot, Loot Bar has carved a reputation as being trustworthy and reliable. With their mobile DIY top-up, you can get the discounts without having to give your password away. So yeah, hit those links in my description and save for Qiuyuan, Chisa, and the version 3.0 Resonators now. Thank you Loot Bar for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to it. When I graduated from university, I was lucky to have mentors who didn't just teach, they molded. People from Canada's public service who shared their experiences and guided me through the labyrinth of career and life. Everyone needs someone like that. A teacher who doesn't just tell you what to do, but helps you see the bigger picture. Qiuyuan embodies that. He's not just a resonator, he's the archetype of mentorship done right. His showcase reminded me that power isn't always loud or explosive. Sometimes it's just quiet, steady, and deeply human. If I hadn't already decided to pull for Qiuyuan, this showcase alone would have convinced me. It's rare for me to make a full video about a showcase, but Qiuyuan earned it. The last time I did something like this was for Brant back in version 2.1, and you know how much that Resonator impressed me. Qiuyuan's trailer, however, brought something else to the table: depth, relatability, and emotional weight. The visuals were stunning, yes, but it was the thematic core that really sold it. It's not just another character flexing their abilities, it's a story about guidance, mastery, and legacy, and that's what makes it resonate so strongly. Now, let's talk gameplay. Because as heartfelt as the showcase is, it's Qiuyuan's kit that turns him into a must-pull. I've been talking about him for weeks, hyping him up, ranking him among my top 10 Resonators even before his release. And that's because his value doesn't come from flashy personal DPS. It comes from what he gives your team. He offers a massive 30% critical damage buff and up to 80% echo skill damage buffs. That's not something you see every day. Sure, he doesn't buff crit rate directly, but that's actually what makes him so efficient. Because now, instead of splitting your focus between crit rate and crit damage, you can just build crit rate on your DPS units and let Qiuyuan handle the rest. Let's take Galbrena for example. Her strongest abilities come from her echo skill damage. While her heavy attacks only contribute about 30 to 40% of her total output, with Qiuyuan, that echo skill multiplier gets supercharged, letting her dish out even more consistent damage over time. And then there's Frolova. Her Hecate coordinated attacks and liberation scaling both rely heavily on echo skill damage. With Qiuyuan in the mix, her ceiling skyrockets as well. She can finally unleash her true potential without worrying about uneven scaling. And that's the kind of synergy you want from a support. One that doesn't just exist to fill space but elevates your main damage dealers into monsters. And make no mistake, Qiuyuan isn't completely support only. In his trial, we've already seen him land consistent 40,000 to 60,000 damage hits. That's respectable, especially considering that he's not even built to nuke. He's meant to enable. He's meant to teach. He's meant to remind your main DPS that they're capable of doing more. Compare that to Shorekeeper, whose rotations feel sluggish and whose value begins to taper off over time. Qiuyuan simply brings more to the table. His presence is stabilizing, he amplifies without overshadowing. So, as a teacher archetype, Qiuyuan represents the quiet power of guidance, the kind of support that doesn't need to be in the spotlight but ensures everyone else shines brighter. That's why I think Kuro's handling of his showcase is one of their best decisions yet. It's character-driven, emotionally intelligent, and visually poetic. It tells you everything you need to know about Qiuyuan before you even read his stats. He's that reliable master who stands in the background, is smiling as his students achieve greatness. And that's something not just powerful but profoundly human. So yes, Kuro Games absolutely cooked with this one. The tone, the atmosphere, the subtle storytelling, all of it blends into a showcase that reminds you that even in a game filled with chaos, power, and endless grinding, there's beauty in simplicity. Qiuyuan's showcase didn't need to be flashy. It just needed to be honest. And in doing so, it became one of the most memorable pieces of storytelling Kuro has released in a long time. It's mature, it's sincere, heartfelt, and genuine. Now, excuse me while I get ready to welcome this master home. Because when a teacher like Qiuyuan shows up, you don't just pull this guy, you take notes. So, if this video resonated with you, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell for massive Qiuyuan Chi-Sub version 3.0 Resonator Gacha luck. Thanks so much for watching, maraming salamat po, and I will see you in my next video drop. Goodbye!